accounting statement disclose the profitability as well as solvency of business to various parties. So generally accepted accounting principles refers to the rules or guidelines adopted for recording the transactions in the books of accounts. So each and every organization should follow certain principles and standards while recording their entries in the books of accounts. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidyashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. My dear students, today we are in the second chapter, that is from Part A Accountancy Syllabus. We are going to discuss your second chapter, that is Theory Base of Accounting. So in your first chapter, we have already learnt about Introduction to Accounting. So how this accounting has been introduced. So what is the definition of accounting? So all that we have learnt in a first chapter. So in this chapter, we are going to learn how the transactions has to be recorded. So as I have already told you in the previous session, it's not that you can record the transaction in the books of account as per your wish. So there are certain principles, there are certain guidelines, assumptions, rules to be followed while recording the transactions in the books of account. So in this chapter, we are going to learn how the transaction that has to be recorded. So what are the concepts as well as conventions relating to this accounting? Now let us quickly see what we are going to discuss today. So today we are going to discuss about theory base of accounting. Now what do you mean by theory base of accounting? So as I've told you, you can't record the transactions as per your wish. So there are certain principles, standards, concepts, rules and regulations to be followed while recording each and every transaction in the books of account. So theory base of accounting consists of principles. So it consists of accounting principles, concepts, conventions, rules and guidelines developed over a period of time in order to bring uniformity. Now, as I've told you, we can't record the transactions as per our wish. So there are certain principles, rules, guidelines, conventions, concepts to be followed while recording the entries in the books of accounts. Now, why we have to follow all these rules and regulations in order to bring uniformity in the books of accounts? So, I have told you in the previous session itself, so this accounting information will be communicated to whom? To the accounting users. So, the users may be internal or external users, right? And at the same time, accounting information should be in such a way that, so each and every transaction should be recorded in a particular manner and there should be accuracy in accounting information where it can be compared from one year to another year. So in order to do that, so there should be uniformity. So each and every organization should follow certain principles and standards while recording their entries in the books of accounts. So if they don't follow, then the accuracy of accounting information will not be there, so that there will be no uniformity in the accounting information. At the same time, it will be difficult for the comparison from one year to another year and from one organization to another organization. So in order to do that, so we have to learn what are the principles, what are the standards, what are the concepts and conventions while recording the transactions in the books of accounts to bring the uniformity in accounting information. So we are going to follow mainly to bring the uniformity as well as consistency in the process of accounting in order to enhance its utility to various users of accounting information. So if the accounting information should be accurate, then we have to follow these concepts, rules and regulations of accounting. So in order to bring uniformity, and we are going to communicate that accounting information to the users. So in addition, accounting standards issued by Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, that is ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, also constitute the theory base of accounting. Now what you have to remember here, theory base of accounting is nothing but the principles, standards, rules, concepts and conventions relating to accounting which has to be followed while recording the transaction in books of accounts. So the main intention of theory base of accounting is to bring uniformity in accounting information so that it can be communicated to the users. At the same time, it can be compared from one year to another year. So this is about theory base of accounting. Now let us see the next concept, that is meaning of accounting principles. So today we shall learn about accounting principles first. So accounting statement disclose the profitability as well as solvency of business to various parties. So we know about it. So the main intention of preparing the accounting statements or the financial statement is in order to know the profit and loss, at the same time the financial position of the business. So it is therefore necessary that such statements should be prepared according to some standard language and set rules. So I have already told you we can't record the transaction as per our wish. So there are certain standards. So there are certain set rules in accounting which we have to be followed. These rules are usually called as generally accepted accounting principles. So in short form, we can call it as GAAP. Now what is the full form of GAAP? Generally accepted accounting principles. So in order to bring uniformity, we have to follow certain rules and regulations of accounting, which is known as what? Generally accepted accounting principles. So in short, we can call it as GAAP. And this is a very important question and you have to know this. Write the full form of GAAP, that is generally accepted accounting principle. So these principles have been generally accepted by the accountant. So in order to bring the uniformity, so here the GAAP contains all the principles. So in order to bring uniformity, all the accountants will follow the principles of GAAP, that is generally accepted accounting principle all over the world as general guidelines for preparing the accounting statement. So while preparing the accounting statement, the accountant has to follow these rules and regulations which is given by GAAP. Clear? These principles have developed over a course of period from usage, person, common experience, historical precedents, statements of individuals, professional bodies and regulation of government agency. So it is not a simple task to include the principles under GAAP. So here lot of experience is required. At the same time, lot of information has to be collected in order to make that principle, make that accounting principle. Now let us see about GAAP. That is, you know the full form of GAAP, generally accepted accounting principle. Now let us see what is this GAAP is all about. So generally accepted accounting principles refers to the rules or guidelines adopted for recording the transactions in the books of accounts. So what do you mean by GAAP? It contains a set of rules or guidelines adopted for recording the transaction in the books of account. As per that principle, we are going to record the transactions in the books of account. So the purpose is to bring uniformity. Of course, the main intention of this GAAP, that is the principles which is included under GAAP, is to bring the uniformity in the business transaction. Suppose if an organization follows the rules and regulation and the other organization who is not following the rules and regulations of accounting, then we cannot compare the financial statement of both the organization, because both the organization are not following this accounting standards as well as accounting principles. So we cannot compare the profitability of both the organization. So in order to bring uniformity, so we have to follow this generally accepted accounting principles. Now moving on to the next concept, let us see how this accounting principle have been divided. So kinds of accounting principles. So as I told you, in this chapter you are going to learn only theory aspects relating to accounting. That is how the transaction has to be recorded and which type of transaction we have to record. Whereas in first chapter we have learned that, so what are the process of recording the transaction. So first we have to identify the transaction, next classify. So it goes on like that. Whereas here In this chapter, we are going to learn how the transaction, so what type of transaction we have to record. So here accounting principle have been divided into two, that is accounting concepts or assumptions, and the second type is accounting conventions. So both two concepts are very important here. So one is accounting concepts or assumption. Here also we are going to learn various types of accounting concepts. And the second one is accounting conventions. So there are certain conventions relating to accounting which we are going to learn here. So there are various conventions also. So we are going to discuss in detail individually. Now let us see about accounting concepts. So as I've told you, this accounting principle have been divided into two. One is accounting concepts, other one is accounting conventions. Now let us see about accounting concepts. Now clear about the principle? Yes. So principle is nothing but the rules and guidelines to be followed while recording the transactions in the books of accounts. So again, accounting principle have been divided into two, accounting concepts and accounting conventions. Now let us see what is this accounting concepts. So accounting concepts refers to necessary assumptions and ideas. So accounting concept means what? Necessary assumptions and ideas which are fundamental to accounting practice. So while recording the transaction in the books of account, there are certain assumptions as well as ideas which is called as what? Accounting concepts. Now let us see, as I've told you, there are various accounting concepts. So let us see one by one. First, let us see look into the list of accounting concepts. So the first concept is that business entity concept. So I'll discuss in detail individually. Now time being, go through this. So there are various accounting concepts. So the first one is business entity concept. And the second one is money measurement concept. And the third one is going concern concept. And the fourth one is accounting period concept. So here each concept has its own explanations. So here one concept or each concept is different from one another. So the fourth concept is accounting period concept, and the next one is cost concept, and the next one is dual aspect concept, or it is also called as accounting equation concept. Next one is revenue recognition concept or realization concept. And the next one is matching concept. And the next one is accrual concept. And the next one is objectivity concept. So these are the 10 accounting concepts. So which are the 10 accounting concepts? Business entity concept, money measurement concept, going concern concept, accounting period concept, cost concept, dual aspect concept or accounting equation concept, revenue recognition concept or realization concept, matching concept, accrual concept, as well as objectivity concept. So these types of questions will be asked for 2 marks. For example, they might ask explain cost concept. So like that, individually this type of questions will be asked for 2 marks. Now go through, or let us discuss each and every concept here. So the first concept is business entity concept. So before explanation, I'll give an example here. For example, X is the owner of the business and he have undertaken a business activity by the name X Limited. Now X is the owner of the business and his business name is X Limited. Now what does this business entity concept tells? So this concept tells that the owner of the organization as well as the business are not one and the same. They both are two separate entities. So business entity concept tells that owner and the business are not one and the same. They are two different entities. For example, the amount which is invested by X. So what it is called as? It is called as capital, right? So the amount which is invested by the owner in the business is called as capital. Now it is not that of X Limited. So here who have invested the business? X have invested the business. So the money is of X. So it is what? It is a liability. It is a liability for the organization, that is for X Limited, because it is not business money, it is owner's money which has been invested by X. In the same way, here X can withdraw money from the business for his personal use on the condition that he has to return back that amount. Clear? So here what does business entity concept tells that business and owner. Now X is the owner. Business and owner are not one and the same, so they are different entities. So whatever the profit which is earned in the organization, so it belongs to the organization. It is not that of owner. In the same way, whatever the personal expenses is made by the owner, so it is his personal expenses. So it does not have any relationship with the organization because they are not one and the same. They are two different entities. Now we shall go through the explanation here. So it means in accounting, every business undertaking is regarded as a separate unit. I have already told you it is regarded as a separate unit or entity quite distinct from its owners who own it. Of course, X is the owner of the business, but they are not one and the same. X is different, at the same time X Limited is different. So here the owner and business are not one and the same. In other words, the business and its owners are to be treated as two separate entities. So here business and owner are two separate entities. Example, in proprietary concern, the business is different from its owner. The accounting records are made in the books of accounts from the point of view of business unit. Therefore, when owner brings capital, so I have already given an example here. When the owner brings capital or makes drawings, they are entered in the books of accounts of the business. So here, if an owner invests money in the business, so it is owner's amount, not the business amount. So here the business have to return that back to the owner. So here always capital as well as drawing is treated as what? It is a liability. Now this is about what? Business entity concept. Now what you have to remember here, business entity concept is that business and owner are not one and the same. They are two different entities. So they are two separate entities. So whatever the amount which is invested in the business, so it is business capital. In the same way, whatever the profit which is earned in the business, it is business profit, not that of owner's profit. Next, second is money measurement concept. So we have already discussed in our first chapter. So we will record those transactions which are measured in terms of what? In terms of money. So here also this money concept or money measurement concept is that we will record only those transactions which is measured in terms of monetary units or which is measured in terms of money. So it means only those transactions which can be expressed in terms of money. So we will record only those transactions which is expressed in terms of money. For example, purchased goods. Purchased goods worth rupees 5,000. And the other one is employee resigned from the organization. From the organization. Now, these are the two transactions which have taken place in the business. Now, we will record only those transactions which is measured in terms of money. So, that is about money measurement concept. So, under money measurement concept, it is that we will record only those transactions which are measured in terms of money. Now, if you see this transaction, so the transaction was purchased goods worth rupees 5,000. Now, whether this transaction has to be recorded in the books of account? Yes. Why? Because it is measured in terms of money. They have clearly given, so purchased goods worth rupees 5,000. But see the next example, employee resigned from the organization. So he may be a efficient employee. Now he has resigned from the organization. Of course, it is also one of the important activity which have taken place in the business, which directly affects the profitability of the business. So if an efficient employee has been resigned in an organization, of course the efficiency of work also decreases. At the same time, it thereby affects the profitability of the organization. It is also one of the important activity which have taken place in an organization, but in accounting or in books of account, we will not record that transaction because it is not measured in terms of money. Even though it affects the profitability of the business, but we will not record that transaction. So here this concept tells that we will record only those transactions which is measured in terms of monetary units or money. So such as sale of goods for cash, payment of salary, etc. are to be recorded in the books of accounts, where it can be measured in terms of money. Transactions which cannot be expressed in monetary terms, such as appointment of a manager. Of course, it is also one of the important activity, right? So appointment of a manager, the retirement of an accountant, etc. are not recorded in the books of accounts. So why it is not recorded in the books of account? Because it is not measured in terms of money. Thus, according to this concept, transactions are recorded not in physical units but in monetary units. So we have to remember this. Here the transactions are recorded or measured in terms of monetary units only, not in physical units. Now moving on to the next concept, that is going concern concept. Now here the word itself says that going concern, in the sense it keeps on going. Now there is a statement that people may come and go, but the business will continue for a longer period of time. So that is about going concern concept. Now here this concept tells that people may come and go, so but the business will continue for a longer period of time. So if an employee resigns from an organization, it doesn't mean that they have to close that business. So if he has resigned, but the business will continue with the new employee. So here thereby the business will continue for a longer period of time. So it means in accounting, a business firm is regarded as a going concern. So it's not that if a person dies in an organization, here the business is not going to close. So they will continue for a longer period of time. In the sense, on the future aspect, we are going to continue the business today. So that is about going concern concept. In other words, according to this concept, a business enterprise will continue to operate for a fairly long period of time. Of course, you know, the business will not have sufficient amount of money. In such cases, they will borrow the loan. So here the institution or the financial institution or the bank will provide loan to the business, thinking that it will continue for a longer period of time. So here mainly or the main focus is given for the continuity of the business. So here the business will continue for a longer period of time. This concept provides the very basis for showing the value of assets in the balance sheet with proper classification as fixed asset as well as current assets. Of course, when we are going to classify the assets, you know we have classified asset as per fixed asset as well as current asset. Now, what do I mean by fixed asset? So, these are the asset where the benefit will be there for a longer period of time. In the sense, future benefit will be there. That is more than 1 year. So, if the benefit is more than 1 year, then it is called as fixed asset, whereas current asset in the sense what? The benefit is only within 1 year. That is current asset. So what you have to remember under going concern concept? So this concept tells that the business will continue for fairly long period of time. So main focus is given for future. So we will do all the transactions today thinking that the business will continue for a longer period of time. Next is accounting period concept. Now, what do you mean by an accounting period? The duration where the financial statements is being prepared. So, normally the accounting period will start from 1st April to 31st March. So, the normally accounting period will be for 1 year. So, that duration where the financial statement is prepared at the end of that period is called as what? Accounting period. Now, let us say what is this accounting period? So, it means for measuring the financial results. So, that duration which is taken in order to measure the financial results. So, you know, Accounting statements will be prepared at the end of the financial year to know the financial position of the business. So that duration which is taken in order to prepare the financial statements in an organization, so that duration is called as what? Accounting period. So it means for measuring the financial results of the business, financial statements are prepared for the financial period or accounting period, which is normally a year. So I have already told you. So this accounting period will be normally a year. Example, calendar year, that is from 1st 2016. So this is a example. So if you take the calendar year, so it starts from 1st January, right? And it ends on 31st December or any other calendar year. But the financial year, if we take the financial year, so the financial year starts from 1st April to 31st March. So 1st April to 31st March of next year. So that duration is considered as what? Accounting period. In our country, the Companies Act 2013. So according to Companies Act 2013 and Income Tax Act required that the income statement should be prepared annually. So we have to prepare income statement or the financial statement annually as per Companies Act 2013, where the accounting period will start from 1st April to 31st March. That is financial year. But if we take the calendar period, it starts from 1st January to 31st December. So this is about accounting period concept. Next is cost concept. So let us see what is this cost concept is all about. So it is also called as what? Historical cost concept. So this concept tells that its cost or purchase price at the time of acquisition. So what is the total cost which is incurred to purchase a particular asset? So that is considered as what? Cost. So according to cost concept, we will take the amount which is spent to purchase a particular product. So the cost price includes, so here cost price is not just only the purchasing of an asset or the purchase of or the amount which is spent to purchase an asset, but it also includes cost of acquisition, that is the amount which is spent in order to purchase a particular asset, that is cost of acquisition, plus transportation charges, installation charges, and making the asset ready to use. So here cost means what? So until or when we have purchased that particular asset, from there to when the asset is been ready to use. So till then the whole cost is considered as what? Or the whole amount is considered as cost. So I have purchased an asset worth rupees 1 lakh. Now, this is not considered as what? Cost, because it is just a purchase price or the cost of acquisition. So here I have purchased an asset for rupees 1 lakh. Now, this is not the cost price. So it is not been installed or the transportation charges are not included for this price. So it is not considered as a cost price. So when we purchase an asset, till when the asset is ready for use. So ready for use. So in between, what are the expenses which is incurred? So everything is included, then it is considered as what? Cost price. So in between, there may be transportation cost or there may be installation charges or any other expenses which is spent in order to, or pertaining to that particular asset. So whole cost is considered as what? Or whole amount until it is ready for use. So that amount is called as what? Cost price. Or in cost concept, we will take all the expenses including cost of acquisition, transportation as well as installation till then or until it is ready for use. So what are the expenses which is incurred? That comes under cost concept. In subsequent year, it should appear at its cost price less depreciation written off to the date, and we have to deduct the depreciation on asset also. Now what do you mean by depreciation? As and when the time passes, the value of asset goes on decreasing. So that is known as what? Depreciation. the market price of the asset is ignored. So under cost concept, we will take only the cost price of the asset. So if we take this example itself, so 1 lakh is the purchased price. For example, transportation is 10,000 and the installation is 20,000. Now whole amount 1 lakh plus 10,000 plus 20,000. So whole 1,30,000 is considered as cost price according to cost concept. It's not just that the purchased amount. So whole expenses until it is ready for use. So whole expenses is considered under cost price and the market price is being ignored under cost concept. So in my next session, we shall discuss few more concepts, that is accounting concept, dual aspect concept, and the next is revenue recognition concept, and the next one is matching concept, accrual concept, objectivity concept, and we shall learn about accounting conventions also, difference between accounting concepts and accounting conventions. So today we have learned few of the accounting concept. In my next session we shall continue with these accounting concept and also we shall learn about accounting conventions, and let us see what is the difference between accounting concepts and accounting conventions. My dear students, in today's session we have learnt about accounting principle, where accounting principle have been divided into accounting concepts and accounting conventions, and we have learnt few of the important accounting concepts. See you all in my next session with a new topic. Till then, take care. Thank you.